Hello. I'm going to read the Vāsudeva rahasya, the secret of Lord Krishna, the Radha Tantra, whereas Radha is the highest goddess, the power of Krishna. We're gonna start with the 16th chapter. These other chapters before are not really necessary for understanding the entire thing. If you look forward to the Lakshmi Tantra's second and third part, they are in the process of being made. So, this text is a conversation between Shiva and Shakti. And Shakti inquiries about the highest Brahma, Lord Krishna. Devi Parvati said, "O Lord of the God of gods, tell me about Krishna, the highest cause, about Govinda, higher than the highest, the eternal master of Vrindavana, the forest of holy basil, the only cause of that which is beyond the attributes of nature or material nature, and about his wonderful greatness, full of sovereignty and excessive beauty. Master, Lord Shiva, I wish to hear it." Shiva replied, "What can one say about his greatness, when even the end of the greatness of the rays from his moon-like toenails is not known? Listen, O goddess, within countless of millions of universes, within countless arrays and phalanxes of these three natures, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshvara, are his fragments, millions upon millions times divided. Through his power, they engage in the task of creation, maintenance, and so on. The moon is a millionth of a millionth part of the splendor of his shining transcendental body. With the beams of his dark blue body, the nectar of the rasa of supreme bliss, the various forms of the highest self, he is the only cause of that which is beyond the attributes of nature." With nature here we mean, of course, material, astral and causal. The individual selves are a millionth part of one of its rays. They consist of beams of this light. They say that the effulgence from the moon gem of his blessed face and his lotus feet is the cause of the complete Brahman, difficult to attain by the Vedas. She who bewilders the world, Maya, is unlimited, and millions of times divided. She is a part of his fragrance, born from the various perfumes of sandalwood, flowers and so on that have touched him. Dear to her is Padmini, Radhika, the beloved of Krishna. And her parts, millions and millions times divided from her, are Lalita Devi and the other beautiful women. The goddess asked Shiva, "God of gods, great God, you who carry the spear and the trident, Master, please explain at length the secret that you just told me." "The Matrika, that is goddess Kalavati," said Shiva, "is Mahamaya, the best of all, hanging around the neck of Tripura, the garland which hangs around Tripura's neck and increases fortune. Padmini, Hastini, Chitrini and Kamini, the supreme. Padmini is supremely wonderful, full of beauty and loveliness. Padmini herself, great mistress, reveals Brahman. Padmini, greatest mistress, is the supreme part of Brahman. From this highest Padmini come millions and millions of universes, and in every cosmos, my dear greatest mistress, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva stay forever, creating, maintaining, destroying and so on. The splendor of her shining body is a form of the supreme nature. 1/1,000,000th of a millionth part of her is the moon, the supreme nature. Krishna's blue shining body is directly Mahakali, the world itself. With the beams of his body, the nectar of the rasa of supreme bliss, the various forms of the highest self, he is the only cause of that beyond the gunas or natures. Greatest mistress, a ray of Brahman is the supreme nature Prakriti, and the living beings are 1/1,000,000th of a millionth part of one of its rays. They consist of beams of it. They say that it is the cause of the complete Brahman, difficult to attain by the Vedas. She who bewilders the world is unlimited millions of times divided from his fragrance. Great mistress, that fragrance which is said to exist in Krishna's body, that part known as fragrance is directly a form of Prakriti. Parvati, Shiva's wife, said, "Greatest master, if they say that the complete Brahman is difficult to attain by the Vedas, then how can Krishna be complete and higher than the highest? If it is not attained by the Veda, great God, carrier of the trident, there will never be any difference between the Veda and the Supreme Brahman. Veda is the Supreme Brahman. Brahman again assumes the Veda as its very form. Unity between Veda and Brahman is called the complete Brahman. An inactive and immovable God is this eternal complete Brahman, Mahavishnu. But the Veda is also Prakriti Maya, the supreme cause of Brahman. The unity of Veda and Brahman is the wonderful fourth abode, Goloka. Greatest master, how can then this ancient one, this Krishna, be said to be attainable by the Vedas? This doubt is a thorn in my heart. Please remove it, O Lord." Lord Shiva replied, "The imperishable Brahman without qualities is called the Supreme Brahman, but when Brahman takes on qualities, it is called Shabda Brahman or Sound Brahman. When the unqualified gives rise to the qualities of Prakriti Maya, then it is qualified Brahman, otherwise it is motionless. Great mistress, where and when could the motionless move, and what would its movement serve, my dear? When the unqualified Brahman becomes qualified as Vāsudeva, it can always be attained by the Vedas, but Brahman that is always motionless cannot be attained by the Vedas. In this world, we speak of the two Brahmans, Sound Brahman, Shabda Brahman, and the Supreme Brahman, but without this Brahman made of sound, goddess, the Supreme is like a dead corpse. Unmovable, great infinite Mahavishnu. Therefore, great mistress, Shabda Brahman is accompanied by the Matrika letters. The Matrika is most worshipful and Krishna's supreme mother. 17th chapter. Ishvara said, "From the touch of the dust of Padmini's feet, millions of universes are born. Padmini Radha is Tripura's servant, always attending to Krishna's needs. Parvati said, Master, O Lord of the gods, please explain all about Govinda's 7 coverings and about his associates. Shiva replied, My dear, Govinda sits with Radha on a jeweled royal throne, beautiful as already explained, wearing divine garlands, his body being bent in 3 places, most charming, the star of the eyes of all the cowherd girls. Outside of this, but within the seat of union, surrounding the golden throne, there are the principal beloveds of Krishna, decorated with ornaments and garments on all of their limbs. Lalita and the other 8 Prakritis surround them, but Radhika is Padmini herself. In the west is goddess Lalita, and Shyama, the blue one, is in the northwest. In the north is Danya. In the northeast is Haripriya. Vishaka is in the east. Shaibya is in the southeast. Padma is in the south, and Bhadra is in the southwest. So are they situated one after the other. Great mistress, these are Padmini's 8 heroines. Now listen, sweet one, to the practice of clan behavior. In front of the edge of the seat of union is sweet and dear Chandravali. These 8 are the principal Prakritis, and Shaibya then is in the southeast. Padmini, Tripura's duty is blessed Radha, who bewilders even Krishna. Chandravali, Chandrarekha, Chitra, Madana Sundari, Priya, blessed Madhumati, Shashireka, and Haripriya are situated one after the other clockwise in all the main and intermediate directions. These 16 main natures are Krishna's principal beloved, but Radha, the mistress of Vrindavan, who gives fearlessness to Krishna, is because of her loveliness and the sweetness of her perfect qualities most beloved of all. She is enchanting. She dresses beautifully and is glorious in her adolescence, colored by various jewels and shining in their silken clothes. Greatest mistress, these 16 women are the embodiments of all the vowels, the vowel sounds. This group of 16 that I have described, goddess, is Mahamaya, the world itself. Outside of them, in the middle of the splendid house that surrounds the seat of union, facing and intent on them are thousands of fortunate cowherd girls, resembling masses of pure gold, very bright and having beautiful eyes. Adolescent, they are lovely as millions of cupids, with their divine ornaments and decorations, with elephant pearls at their nose tip, with various ornaments in their hair and sweet dangling earrings, perceiving his form within their hearts, longing to embrace him, plunged into the emotion of embracing dark blue Krishna, their minds trembling engrossed on Krishna's lotus feet, worshipped with the lotuses of their eyes. Motionless, Krishna stands like a painted picture. Their appearance bewilders Krishna. Their correct behavior is devoted to Krishna. Their voices are sweet in different ways, and in different ways they bewilder the 3 worlds. Agitated by love, they sing about Krishna's confidential secrets. They are expert in sly tricks. They are dressed in divine clothing. They are lovely and their gracefulness is wonderful. Their sidelong glances are enchanting. They are exclusively attached to Govinda, to Krishna, longing for the touch of his limbs. They are lovely, charming, excited, devoted on meditating on Krishna, decorated with various clothes, shy, and their faces are sweet. Facing them are thousands of fortunate cowherd girls. Great mistress, these are the Veda girls, or rather these are the verses of the Vedas, and there are thousands and billions of them. All the celestial girls are splendid in their divine forms and emotion, and behind them the sage girls, sweet and enchanting. Their minds are plunged into Radha, and they cast smiling, sidelong glances. Further outside the temple, surrounding these dear associates, are those young boys, the cowherd boys, who are of similar age and dress as Krishna, similar strength and manliness, similar form and similar qualities and activities, who are devoted to similar calls, songs and flute play, who sit on golden seats and are decorated with golden ornaments, together with billions and billions of cowherds such as Stoka Krishna and Subhadra, noisy, youthful, clad, holding horns, canes, lutes or flutes, meditating on all of Krishna's qualities, with bodies none different from his form, and intent on protecting Krishna's life. They sing agitated by rasa, by emotion, stirred by the divine. Behind them he is further attended by herds of wish-fulfilling cows with their calves, agitated again by divine emotion, watching his form motionless as painted pictures, always shedding showers of tears of bliss, the hair on whose body is standing on end, amazed as masters of yoga by thousands of herds of cows with flowing milk. Behind them goddess with an enclosure shining like millions of suns, in a great garden in all four directions, pervaded by all kinds of fragrances. There is in the west facing them a dwelling under a blessed tree. Under that tree is a golden platform decorated with a golden temple, and in the middle of that, on a splendid throne of jewels, rubies and pearls, sits Vāsudeva, Sri Krishna, the preceptor of the world, the highest bliss, whose form of consciousness is beyond the three qualities, who is the cause of all causes, who is densely dark like a blue sapphire, whose hair is dark and curved, whose broad eyes resemble lotus petals, and who wears makara-shaped or dolphin-shaped earrings. He is four-armed, a great abode, an everlasting form of light, without beginning or end, eternal and the master of pradhana, the original state of matter, and of Purusha, the supreme consciousness. He carries the conch shell trumpet, the disc, club, and lotus. He wears a garland of forest flowers. He is dressed in yellow. He is very charming, decorated with divine ornaments and divine arguments, and enchanting with his glittering variegated bracelets. Vāsudeva is further surrounded by his 8 queens, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Nagnachitta, Lakshmana, Mitravinda, Sunanda, dear Jambavati, and Shushila. And Uddhava and his other associates eagerly are devoted to him. So this is in the west. In the north is a divine garden, overspread with yellow sandalwood trees. Under them is a golden platform adorned with a bejeweled pavilion. In the middle of that, on a shining divine royal throne of rubies, sits Lord Sankarsana, Balarama, together with Revati, his wife. The Lord's dear Ananta Shesha, none different from him in terms of form and qualities, four-armed, holding plough and club, shining white as clear crystal, with eyes resembling red lotuses, and dressed in blue clothing, anointed with divine sandalwood pulp, whose beautiful cheeks are touched by his earrings, who is decorated with divine ornaments and garlands, always intoxicated by wine, his eyes always rolling in his head, his beauty enchanting the world, who enjoys the juice of streams of nectar, his eyes like white lotus petals, richly decorated with divine ornaments and jewelry and anointed with divine garlands. His beautiful, extraordinary body completely bewilders the world. So here we see again, in the center there is Radha and Krishna, and on the outside are Vāsudeva, Sankarsana, and the other four forms of Vishnu. In the eastern garden is a great forest of divine trees, and under them is a great platform decorated with a golden pavilion. In its middle, on a splendid divine throne, sits together with Usha, blessed Aniruddha, the Lord of the world. Sweet bliss, densely dark like Krishna, with sweet black hair. His sweet restless eyes are gentle as blue lotuses. He has nice eyebrows that are raised and crooked, nice cheeks, a nice nose, a nice neck, a beautiful chest, a nice voice, and is completely enchanting. He has a diadem and earrings and is decorated with ornaments around his neck and elsewhere. He is sweet with his lovely bracelets, and his form is wonderful. Where he is, he loves a song and is worshipped by his dear servitors. He is the complete Brahman, eternal bliss, and his form is made of pure sattva. Above him, Aniruddha, and in the sky is Vishnu. Above him and in the sky is Vishnu, Lord of all lords, eternal with the form of original consciousness, the bliss of consciousness, the highest master beyond the three qualities, imperceptible, imperishable, perpetual and undecaying. His smile a mass of sweetness, his blue shining body beautiful like a blue rain cloud in the autumn season. His hair is dark, wavy and smooth. His dress and hair are beautiful. His very wide eyes are gentle like lotus petals. He is shining with a diadem and earrings. He enchants the entire world. He has 4 hands decorated with the weapons of disc, lotus, club and the conch. He wears armorings and bracelets of different types, and his hips are decorated with bells. He carries the Shri Vatsa and Kaustuba ornament and a splendid garland of forest flowers. His chest is illuminated by an exalted necklace of lovely pearls. He wears golden ornaments. He is carried by the blessed son of Vinata, namely Garuda. He is flanked on both sides by Lakshmi and Saraswati. He is the majesty and joy of the complete Brahman. He is the receptacle of the rasa of complete bliss. He is praised by the greatest seers and others, and surrounded by his dear associates. He is the Lord of all causes and effects. Let one remember the master of masters of yoga. Below him and in Patala, together with the power that supports Lord Ananta, and in the middle of a jeweled pavilion, on a splendid jeweled royal throne, sits blessed Ananta, devoted to meditation on the form of Krishna. Behind him, and surrounded in all 4 directions by lofty and enchanting walls made of crystals, in a garden the fragrance of whose flowers bewilders the 3 worlds, he is surrounded by gods and demons, by angels and humans, served by siddhas and charanas, with divine limbs, pleasant and beautiful. their carriers properly decorated, praying for the boons they desire, longing to worship his feet. To their right sages with selves of pure sattva, whose law and practice is devotion to him alone, and who are eagerly intending to his devotion, they desire him. To their back, Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sananda, and Sanatana, and other noble and great yogis, who take delight in themselves, in their own self, whose form consists of consciousness, who are devoted to glimpsing his form, who have brought the meditation on him into their hearts, and who have fixed their eyes on the tips of their noses, engage themselves in unmotivated devotion with their hearts, thoughts, bodies, and words. Perfected archangels who have attained him, together with Vidyadharas and Kinnaras, groups of lusty apsaras or heavenly courtesans, devoted to song and dance, wishing to worship the feet of Krishna, desire him with their joyful minds. To their front and in the air, on pleasant seats, are all the Vaishnavas, Prahlada, Narada, the Kumaras, Shuka, Uddhava, and others, whose brilliant emotions include the hairs on their bodies standing on end and internally longing for his vision, their hairs on whose whole bodies are standing on end, who are full of brilliant love, who are endowed with secret love, with their selves filled with the joy of complete love, mentally recite the mantra of 2 letters. That is Krishna. Basically, it's 2 syllables. Krish, indicating the created, and Na is the uncreated. And this Krishna is the crest jewels of all mantras, and which is the only cause of all mantras. The Krishna mantra is the life of the mantras of all gods, and the Krishna mantra is the cause of all mantras of blessed Krishna himself. Of all Krishna mantras, that of the adolescent is the most efficacious, and of all mantras, for Krishna can be worshipped as adult, adolescent, or as child form. And of all mantras of the adolescent, the crest jewel mantra, Krishna, is the origin. At his lotus feet, they desire the unflinching practice of loving devotion. Beyond this are lofty and most enchanting walls, made of crystal in all the 4 directions, splendidly shining with red and white flowers. A white 4-armed Vishnu, decorated with conch, disc, club, lotus, with diadem and other ornaments, is the gatekeeper in the west. A red 4-armed Vishnu, wearing the weapons of conch, disc, club, and so on, splendid also with a crown, earrings, and other ornaments, is the gatekeeper in the north. A golden 4-armed Vishnu, wearing the weapons of conch, disc, and club, is the gatekeeper in the east. He is known as the golden Vishnu. And a black 4-armed Vishnu, decorated with conch, disc, and so on, is the gatekeeper in the south. Let one meditate on this blessed Vishnu Hari. This greatest mistress is the supreme 7-fold covering, Padmini. The highest Radha has this 7-fold covering. My dear, this covering is the 7 Shaktis themselves. The goddess said, "Great God, you who have the bull for your emblem, one more time I am asking you. Vāsudeva Vishnu is one, and Mistress Prakriti is one. How then, greatest Master, greatest Lord, does variety appear? Listen, Goddess, great Mistress, and I will tell you a secret most confidential, how the one Vishnu became various. Since the greatest Mistress Prakriti pervades the entire universe, Mistress of the gods, she who is the world itself pervaded everything by becoming man and woman. By the form of woman and man, she pervaded everything and blossomed. Vāsudeva, Mahavishnu, is the highest Lord beyond all qualities. Whatever form Vāsudeva is situated in, that is true, lotus-eyed one, for that which is called the form of Krishna is the cause of perfection of vidya, knowledge. Sweetly smiling one, know this Radha to be Tripura's Padmini. All other heroines are always the 8 heroines, great mistress. It is the group of 8 that is called the 8 heroines. By the grace of Tripura, the great Maya, Vāsudeva Mahavishnu took on many bodies and performed various activities. Beautiful one, great mistress, having taken on the form of Krishna together with Padmini, he recited the Vidya of Mahakali, the mistress of the gods. In this way, my dear, Hari took perpetual shelter of Vrindavana, the forest of holy basil. O lotus-eyed one, Vāsudeva, Hari himself appeared as Krishna. When Mahavishnu appeared in Mathura, beautiful one, as Vishnu with 4 arms, Hari himself appeared. At that moment, greatest mistress, the 2-armed form of intelligent Hari Krishna appeared. Krishna, perpetually unchanging, made himself 2-armed to hide himself. Having become just like a human being, with a human body of Maya, great mistress, Krishna did in the middle part of his life that which had been explained by Padmini in each opening, both in the top and lower part, that which was secretly explained, handsome woman, to attain perfection of his mantra. When Krishna, living in Dwarka, gave up his body, Krishna's light again entered into Vāsudeva Mahavishnu. Therefore, great mistress, my dear, without Vāsudeva one can never attain Brahman in any other gods. Goddess, though always unchanging, Vāsudeva partakes of variety. Beautiful one, whichever form Vāsudeva sees, into that form he indeed goes. Thus Hari partakes of variety. The infallible one quickly assumes separated bodies after he, by the grace of Tripura, has taken on a secret body. Great mistress, handsome woman, all of those who were mentioned, Sanaka and the other gods, all of those various Vishnus who were mentioned and the others, all of them are knowledgeable in the clan scriptures and devoted to the creeper practice, or rather to develop the creeper of holy basil. All of the heroines mentioned are illuminators of the clans of Vidya, handsome woman. All of those golden, black, red, white and yellow forms mentioned are devoted to the clan scriptures. Fair complexioned one, these black, golden, red and so other forms are partial forms of Vāsudeva, but Krishna is Vāsudeva himself because of his worshipping Tripura's feet. The Revati was mentioned, the others Rukmini, and the other 8 who were mentioned. He who is called Aniruddha and is Usha, Lord Balarama, the power that supports. Whatever was mentioned, great mistress, and whatever else there is, all of that, great mistress, are the matrikas, bewilderers of the world. This world, great mistress, is always made up of letters, for without letters, great mistress, this whole world would be meaningless. Vāsudeva Mahavishnu is always without qualities, my dear, but he engages with the various knowledge's forms, the very forms of the complete Brahman. Vishnu is always without qualities, but the Supreme Prakriti has qualities. Therefore, the qualified Vishnu has come together with Prakriti. Without Prakriti, the eminent Vishnu is always motionless. Vāsudeva Mahavishnu carries a conch, disc and a club. He wears yellow clothes. He has a garland and bells around his hips. All of these decorations, goddess, and this form are always the Prakriti. Mahavishnu has no senses, and Krishna is his part incarnate. Mahavishnu is the complete Brahman, and Krishna is his part. Devi said, the eternal master of Vrindavan is the only cause that goes beyond all qualities. Lord, best of ascetics, Lord Shiva, why do you speak like this? Ishvara replied, listen, you audacious and beautiful woman, and I will answer your doubt. He who is called the master of Vrindavana is a part of Vishnu. His body, great mistress, is the goddess original Prakriti. His self is Mahavishnu, and his mind is Shiva. This truth, beautiful one, is the description of the hidden Brahman. Without this truth, there can be no truth at all. That which is born from this goddess should be known as the very same Brahman. Greatest mistress, my dear, the wonder of Krishna that you have seen, all of that is Krishna's by his worshipping Tripura's feet. This body of Krishna, dear one, is a form of Kali herself, but Padmini, greatest mistress, is the supreme part of Padmini. Only by coming together of these two can Krishna be said to be complete. Handsome one, previously at the ocean of milk, Vāsudeva, accompanied by Lakshmi, suddenly gave Brahma 2 strands of hair, a white and a black one. This was a sign for his birth, my dear beautiful one, in the seat of the hair in Vraja in Madhuvana. Therefore, great mistress Parvati, a part of Vāsudeva appeared, but Krishna is himself he who is Bhaga, for Bhaga is the greatness of all desire. Hari is always furnished with Bhaga. Without Bhaga, handsome woman, Brahman is like a dead corpse. All of this imposture is made up of your hair, for one is not able to describe your hair, great mistress. Mistress of the gods, the imposture of your hair is always within the Brahman. By the fragrance of your hair, the immovable starts moving. Mistress of the gods, this Bhagavata Tantra is known as Radha Tantra. It is the secret of Vāsudeva, most confidential. Mistress of the gods, Vāsudeva Mahavishnu, the prosperous, is nature herself, and Vāsudeva is Krishna himself, none other. Handsome woman, Krishna is therefore a part of Vāsudeva and of Prakriti. 19th chapter. Shiva said, Goddess, greatest mistress, my dear, the black and other colored forms are parts of Vāsudeva, as are the masters of the forest of holy basil and the golden, white, red and blue Vishnus, sweetly smiling one. Vāsudeva's conch is said to be the white Vishnu. Vāsudeva's disc is known as the golden Vishnu, and the lotus is the red Vishnu. The club of Vishnu is unlimited splendor and is the blessed blue Vishnu, enchanter of the world, but Krishna, dear to Padmini, is always a two-armed Krishna. Is always a two-armed Vishnu. So Mahavishnu is four-armed, but Krishna is always two-armed. Vāsudeva Mahavishnu has 2 energies. Hari is always accompanied by Lakshmi and Saraswati. Therefore, handsome woman, Vāsudeva is the complete Brahman, great mistress. Vāsudeva is Mistress Prakriti herself. Know the eldest Prakriti to be the pervasive Vaishnavi. The eldest Maya of Prakriti is Vāsudeva, Hari himself. Devi said, God of gods, great God, you who carry the spear and the trident, great God, you indicated that Radha remained in a lotus grove, in a thicket of lotuses, and that it was Chandravali Radha that lived in Vrikabanu's house. Explain all of this in detail, greatest master. O Lord, how could Radha then come together with Krishna? Lord, ocean of compassion, destroy this doubt. Shiva replied, this Bhagavata Tantra, this enchanting Radha Tantra, is extremely beautiful, pure, spotless, and the highest abode. When practitioners bearing divine bodies hear it, greatest mistress, and hide it in their hearts, they wish to hear nothing else. This Tantra is pleasing to hear, it is increasing all happiness, it is the highest secret, the essence of essences, higher than the highest. This Padmini Tantra is also known as the Bhagavata. In whichever scripture or Tantra one finds the Gayatri, my dear, a description of the 5 Vishnus and the qualities of Padmini, that indeed is known as Bhagavata. This Bhagavata Tantra includes the Gayatri. Whatever Tantra in which one finds description of the 5 Vishnus, the qualities of Padmini and the complete Gayatri of Padmini, beautiful one, is known as the Bhagavata. That which is without cannot be called the Bhagavata. In whichever Purana or Tantra, beautiful one, if the complete Gayatri is lacking, or the qualities of Prakriti, wherever one finds a description of 5 Vishnus, that should be understood as the Bhagavata. Anything else is nothing but imposture. Handsome woman, Vāsudeva, the formless Mahavishnu, appeared in Mathura. Mahavishnu appeared together with his Prakriti. Mahavishnu appeared because of having worshipped the feet of Tripura. The highest mistress Mahamaya appeared before him. Hari himself appeared during the dark fortnight of the month of Bhadra in September. Padmini during the bright fortnight of the month of Chaitra. So she appeared a bit before. Great mistress, dear goddess, once Padmini, fragrant as a lotus, has appeared, she created Chandravali Radha, just like herself, furnished with a lovely form for the house of Vrikabhanu. This supreme part of Padmini then extended her enchanting magic in a thicket by the Kalindi river, splendid and surrounded by various lotuses of white, red, yellow and blue color, and by other various flowers, fragrant and of different colors, beautiful, filled with geese, ducks and white birds, surrounded by hosts of Gandharvas and gods, lotus-eyed one, and filled with the sounds of drums, conchs and lutes, and on a jeweled bed inlaid with all kinds of jewels in the middle of all this. This bed, my dear, always awards religion, desire, and virtue, and it gives liberation from the matrix. In its middle, greatest mistress, sitting on a jeweled royal throne, accompanied by 50 sound letters and the 4 Vedas, surrounded by various sages, greatest goddesses. And on a jeweled royal throne in the middle of all this, sits the eternal Katyayani Shiva, and to the left of Katyayani and on a lion Padmini. To serve Katyayani, this loving woman sits there, greatest mistress, until coming together with Krishna. After one has properly worshipped an earthen linga of Sadashiva, One should worship with various flowers and enchanting ingredients. Having worshipped properly, one should devotedly recite the supreme mantra. My dear, one should always recite Katyayani's greatest mantra. Listen carefully to this mantra, greatest mistress. Om Hrim Katyayani Mahamaya, greatest yogini, supreme goddess. Make Krishna, the son of cowherd Nanda, my husband. I bow to you. Hrim Om. O goddess Padmini prays in this way so that she can achieve the company of Krishna. For women should worship Katyayani if they want a good husband. She recited this Mahavidya until coming together with Krishna. After some days, goddess, she who is the world itself appeared, Mahamaya, the world itself, the slayer of Mahishasura. Katyayani said, Who are you, my dear, with eyes like lotus petals? Why are you alone? Why have you come here? Tell me everything properly, my dear. Padmini replied, Katyayani, Mahamaya, I bow to you, beloved of Shiva. You are Krishna's mother. I bow to you again and again. Mistress of the gods, who is my father? Whose am I, fair complexioned one? Tripura is the mother of the world, and I am associated with her. My name, great mistress, greatest goddess, is Padmini. When will I see Vāsudeva? When will I see Krishna, O beautiful one? Katyayani replied, Do not fear, daughter, you will soon attain Krishna. Sweetly smiling one, mistress of all the gods, at full moon during the waning fortnight in winter, you will meet with Vāsudeva. My dear, without your company, Vāsudeva will not be successful. For your company, beautiful one, is liberation, the highest abode. During the 8th day of the bright fortnight of Bhadra, under the asterism of Rohini, Mahavishnu appeared. I am telling you nothing wrong. So saying, Mahamaya disappeared. Sweetly smiling one, lotus-eyed Padmini became ecstatic to hear this and sat down on Katyayani's throne. There Padmini Radha remained until Krishna came to her. Growing up together with the other cowherd girls in their respective houses, they were all, by their 1,000 celestial girls, greatest mistress. Krishna appeared after Padmini in Vraja, my dear, but lotus-eyed Krishna, beautiful lotus-eyed one, the son of Devaki, grew from day to day in the house of Nanda and enacted his infancy, boyhood and adolescence. 20th chapter. Shiva said, Handsome woman, I will tell you a most confidential secret, beautiful and most enchanting. Listen carefully. Great mistress, my dear, listen to Krishna's relatives. His brothers, his friends of the same age, his servants and his beloveds are all according to rank respected by him, the crown prince of blessed Raja. Raining auspicious nectar, the cowherd called Parjanya is the eldest of the people of Raja. He is Krishna's paternal grandfather. Krishna's most respected paternal grandmother is known as Varyasi. His very powerful maternal grandfather is known as Sumukha. In Vraja, his maternal grandmother is known by the name Patala. His father, giving bliss or Ananda to Vraja, is Nanda, worshipped by the world. His mother, giving Datri or fame to the cowherds, is Yashoda, full of happiness. Rohini, who always increases everyone's delight, is his elder mother. His paternal uncles Upananda and Abhinanda are the elder brothers of his father, while Sananda and Nandana are the younger brothers. Nandini is his paternal aunt and her husband is Nila. The wives of his paternal uncles are Tungi, Pivari, Kuvala, and Atana. His maternal uncles include Yasodhara, Yasodaiva, and Sudeva. His mother's sister is Yasasvini, and Nanda is her husband. Tundu, Kuttera, Purata, and others are like his paternal grandfathers, while Gonda, Kadordu, Karunda, and so on are like maternal grandfathers to him. So this is just an elaboration of all these friends and associates. It goes on for some time. The sandbank where Krishna plays is called Ananga Rangabu. The greatest place of pilgrimage by the Yamuna is called Kela Tirtha. There he eternally plays with his most beloved. His mirror is Saradindu, his fan is Madhumurata, his play lotus is Sadasmera, and his ball is Chitrakaraka. His bow, decorated with gold, is called Vilasa Karmika. The bowstring tied to jewels at both ends is Singini. His little knife, with the handle studded with divine jewels, is called Tustida. His bugle horn is Mandra Gosha, and his flute is Bhuvana Mohini. By this hook he catches the fish of Radha's mind. Therefore it is also known as Mahananda or Great Bliss. His smaller flute has 6 holes and is known as Madanarat. His Murali flute is called Sarala, a peacock that silences the sweetest tones. His favorite ragas are Gaudi and Gurjari. The mantra that he recites to achieve his goal is the wonderful name of his beloved Radha. His stick is called Mandana and his lute is called Tarangini. His 2 ropes are called Pashuvashikara, and his milking pot is Amrita Totahani. On his arms his mother has tied great amulets inlaid with 9 gems. His armlets are called Rangada, his bangles Chikana, his signet ring Ratnamukhi, and his yellow clothes Nigama Shopana. _21st chapter. Shiva said, "Listen, goddess, Yogini, to the supreme truth of Vāsudeva, unlimitedly sweet, peaceful, and supreme amongst the supreme knowledges. Confusion, laziness, error, harshness, dependence, absorption in lust, fickleness, arrogance, jealousy, violence, depression, fatigue, falsehood, anger, neediness, mental derangement, inequity, and disregarding others. These are the 18 faults, my dear. The Lord's body is bereft of these 18 faults. It has all majesties. It is true, and its nature is of one consciousness and bliss. His true body is not one of Prakriti. It is not born of meat and fat. Through yoga, greatest mistress, he is the self of all, and his body is eternal. Parvati, one who sees or touches someone who thinks that Vāsudeva's body is material, attains the result of killing a sage or worse." Shiva said, "Parvati, my wife, one should understand the marks of the enchanting body of Vāsudeva to be that it is threefold bent, threefold broad, threefold slender, fivefold long, fivefold fine, sixfold raised, and sevenfold reddish. Hari's forehead, cheek, neck and chest. One should know the threefold broad, threefold deep and threefold slender of Hari. The threefold slender are the nails, the hair and the lips. That sages know that the threefold deep are the navel, the hands and the eyes. O Parvati, one should understand the arms and legs, hands, eyes and cheeks to be fivefold long of Vāsudeva. Loving one, the neck, the waist, the shanks, the hair and the teeth. These should be understood as the fivefold fine of Vāsudeva. The feet, the hands, the navel, the mouth, the nostrils, the eyes, the ears are Hari's sevenfold red colored places. The nose, the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the head and the loins are raised in Vāsudeva. These are 32 marks on his body. His form greatest mistress has these marks, and all of it, handsome woman, is goddess Prakriti herself. Vāsudeva, Mahavishnu, is like a shining Kalika, sweetly smiling one, having taken shelter of this body with all of its marks. Vishnu became qualified, even though he himself is unqualified, always in order to perform tasks, for otherwise Vishnu is always inactive. Vāsudeva's body is goddess Kali herself, no one else. My dear, in Mathura, in Vraja, Krishna is a part of Vāsudeva, and the secret of Vrindavana, my dear, is Mahamaya herself, for without Shakti, great mistress, Brahman, Mahavishnu, is like a dead corpse. By coming together with Padmini and by the grace of Mahamaya, the glow from Krishna's toenails equals the effulgence of millions of Brahmans. Great mistress, loving one, what is impossible for Vāsudeva? In each and every one of his toenails can be found the effulgence of millions of Brahmans.